All right, we are back again, and it was a little bit of a break. Okay, there wasn't enough going on, and I was busy. I broke his thumb. All right, we got shit going on. Okay, but we're back again, and we're gonna get into these offensive rankings. But first, we do got some extension and OTA news. Okay, first of all, the thing we all knew was coming for the most part. Justin Jefferson signs a huge new deal, makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league at 35 million a year, 4 years, 140 million, 110 million guaranteed. Right behind him, Nico Collins signs 3 year, $72.75 million extension, 52 million guaranteed, and then Waddle also getting a 3 year, $84.75 million extension with the Dolphins, 76 million guaranteed. Canipe, earlier in the offseason, Devontae Smith also signed a 3 year, $75 million, $51 million guaranteed. There's been a lot of talk that he didn't get enough, basically. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did. I didn't agree with that at all. I mean, I was like, dude, he's first of all, he's not even the top guy on his team, and I don't know. I just that to me was overblown. I think he's getting paid plenty to play football. I mean, yeah, great receiver, but you're not even the top guy on your team, dude. And I understand you have AJ Brown across from you, but that makes sense. Like Waddle got kind of similar deal. You're a number two. It's not like, I mean, how much more do you expect, dog?
Well, Waddle did get a little bit more than him, but yeah,
Yeah, but
I kind of feel like, I mean, if you're asking me who would I rather have, Waddle or Devontae Smith, I'm sorry, I'm taking Waddle. Like I feel like he got right about where he should have got. If anything, I think you could argue maybe he should have gotten a little bit more because he got more than Nico Collins, but maybe he should have gotten a little bit more of that gap since Nico kind of just did it this year. Obviously, with first year with CJ Stroud, but this was his first breakout year, but Devontae Smith's been pretty consistent. So if anything, I think you could make an argument maybe he should have got a little bit more there. But overall, I feel like he got pretty close to what he should have got. So I kind of feel the same as you. I feel like it's kind of overblown a little bit. He's right about where he should be making. I mean, it's not like there's some huge gap between like him and Devontae Smith. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is going to blow all of them out of the water. So like that's not really like I don't think Justin Jefferson's deal really affects Devontae Smith at all. I mean, honestly. So um, yeah, but just wanted to chime in on there with that. Those wide receivers all getting paid. And then the Vikings re-signed Dalton Reisner to a 1 year deal. Christian McCaffrey, your boy, got a 2 year extension, 19 million per year. And then the biggest news of the last 2 weeks. The Bears today announced that they're going to re-sign Mercedes Lewis. This is season 19 for Big Dog, okay? And let me tell you, as a Jaguars fan, I miss the shit out of Mercedes Lewis, all right? I wish he would come back. It would be a pleasure. I think he's got to be the oldest non-quarterback player in the league, right? I mean, outside of kickers too. But he's got to be it, right? I mean, he's like 40 years old playing tight end. Like, it's just crazy because him and Maurice Jones-Drew came in the league at the same time, and Maurice Jones-Drew has been on NFL Network forever now.
yeah,
And Mercedes Lewis is just still out there getting it, man. It's just crazy to see. But he was with the Bears last year, so it looks like he's going to be with them this year. Good for him. Good for him. Okay, my man is in great shape, obviously. And then the Jets. This really isn't news, but I mean, it's just worth noting. The Jets signed Tariq Cohen. My man is still working on that comeback. And they basically said because of the new kickoff rules that there's basically a spot for him to compete as a kick returner. So good for him, pulling for him all the way there. Some OTA news as well. So Hassan Reddick, the Jets obviously trade for him. My man is skipping OTAs right now. Apparently, he wants a new contract or something. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of bullshit. They traded for your ass, buddy. You should have worked that out before you got there. To be skipping OTAs now, just like, I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to be there, and maybe they told him it's cool. I don't know, but just seems like after they just traded for you, you'd think you'd be there meeting your new teammates. But another note, so James Bradbury, obviously coming off the worst season of his career at cornerback, and the Eagles now have drafted 2 new cornerbacks in the NFL draft. James Bradbury taking snaps at safety right now in OTAs. And I don't think that this is really should be much of a surprise. I think there's a strong chance that James Bradberry is not playing cornerback for the Eagles to start the season after the year that you had last year. And listen, I love James Bradberry. He's been very consistent up until last year, where he just freaking got destroyed. I mean, I know you guys saw that clip. I forgot what game it was, but there was basically a game where it was like the last drive, and the quarterback threw it at James Bradberry every single play. And every single one of them was completed, and they scored a touchdown to lose the game. And it was just like they literally just threw it at him every single time, and the guy caught it every single time, whoever was covering. So I don't think that this is that much of a surprise. It's a move that a lot of corners make when they get older. All right, it's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so we'll see how it pans out. The Eagles got a bunch of dudes at corner this year that I'm not really sure who's going to get the snaps. You know, two rookies. Bradberry, obviously, it will be in the mix, but we'll see what happens over there. And then N'Keal Harry, obviously a disappointing first round wide receiver, is switching to tight end because obviously wide receiver just isn't working out. So eventually you just got to try something new, right? So we'll see how that goes. And then, yes, can't forget my man, Darren Waller, okay? He's been out here starting his rap career, dropped a brand new single where he got himself a Kelsey Plum lookalike to be in the music video, talking about the divorce. I don't know what he's got going on, but his friends should have stopped him from putting out that video, okay? Because the whole thing is just kind of weird. But he's retiring from the NFL. All I got to say, good call. Good call, my man. I think it's time, okay? Because if we're out here making music videos with lookalikes of our ex-wives, I think maybe it's time to put the football down, because obviously we've got our priorities in other places. So good luck to Darren Waller. You had a couple good seasons and you really lived off of that. Okay. You really did. It's just a couple good years. And next thing you know, he's just kind of dragging his way to 10 million a year. So anyways, goodbye. Good luck. Let's get into Canipes. What?
Let's get to the fun part.
Yeah. Let's get into Canipes. Offensive rankings for the 2024 season, just for fun here. And listen, I actually did a couple myself, which will be the O-line and the wide receiver. So we both did those ones. So I did a little side by side. It kind of just happened. But we'll just take a look and we'll just kind of talk about it as we go here. All right. We're going to start off with the running backs. Okay. Obviously you got to be biased as hell, putting Christian McCaffrey at 1. No, I'm just kidding. Christian McCaffrey at 1. I feel like that is what makes the most sense about your running back rankings to me. 1 and 2, can't argue with you there. I think those are a good, solid combo right here. Now, actually, let me just go ahead and you take the floor. And if there's anything you want to point out about your running back rankings here, you go ahead and you just tell me about them. Just sell me on where you put some of these spots. Like, I think you're going to know which ones are kind of like debatable. So let's just hear from you.
I mean, not really, because I mean, this is what I project for 2024. I mean, you know, dude, I'm the 3-time champ here in fantasy. You got none, bro. All right. So I know about me some running backs, God damn it. And I'm telling you right now, Bijan and Saquon are set up to succeed, like beyond belief, because Bijan never had a quarterback at all last year, and he still performed well. Like, dude, freak athlete, just needs a better situation. What's better than a stable quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, in the NFL, it's hard to find. He now has that. Saquon, same thing. He now improves offenses dramatically. He's going to get – I mean, I understand they still have the tush push, and that's the only thing that kind of draws me away from Saquon, but it's like it's Saquon, dog. What are we talking about? Like, he's in a better situation than the Giants. He's probably going to eat, especially behind that O-line. Are you kidding me? And then Gibbs, I feel like ceiling is like sky's the limit. Everyone sees his talent. He just quality running back. He's got great burst. I mean, the kid's a stud. He's ready to explode. ETN, I've always liked. I mean, you know that as soon as you guys drafted him, as soon as I saw him run, I was like, okay, this guy looks like a running back. And to me, that's an easy one at number 6. Chubb, I can understand you putting at 3 if you didn't like Bijan for whatever reason. But Chubb he's coming off an injury, and I just feel like he's going to decline just a little bit. Not a lot, but I mean, he also has a very good O-line, so I think that makes sense there. Breece Hall, we know he's a freak. Taylor and A-Chain too, dude. I mean, like, to me at 10, I was debating between about 6 different running backs, to be honest. And I was like, who has the highest ceiling for 2024 if everything goes their way. And to me, it's A-Chain, whatever the heck you want to call him. I think A-Chain sounds way cooler, but
A-Chain.
what? Yeah. Well,
I don't know. But I like A-Chain personally.
Yeah, I
think
it sounds way better too. But yeah, I don't know. I love my list, bro. I think my list is spot on. If you play fantasy, use this as your running back.
So let me ask you this though, like, is your list, because honestly, I didn't really take it this way, but is your list like for fantasy? Like, is this like fantasy ranking or just like
It's
what you think? Huh?
It's kind of both. I mean, what do you mean?
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, because
sometimes stats lie. I guess not really with running backs as much, but sometimes they lie.
I mean, dude, these are the guys who I can see every one of these guys easily getting over 1,000, and probably half of them pushing over 15. And I could easily see, and you can make a case for any one of these players getting 10 touchdowns or more next year.
So like, let me give you an example of what I mean by like fantasy versus like if it's just for the season. Like Nick Chubb, for example, like he's coming off injury. I'm not even sure 100% that he'll be ready to start the season. So like if he okay, well, like let's say he's not ready to start the season, like
this was assuming
I don't know. Okay, all right. So all right. I see what you're saying. Okay, like a per game basis. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is like assuming health too. Like, I'm not. This is me just guesstimating that Chubb is going to be fine because he fucked his shit up like pretty early on in the year. So I think he'll be okay to start. I mean, maybe he won't, but I mean, let's say he is. He could easily end up being a top 10 running back, and probably will be almost as a lock as long as he plays, just because of his talent level. And I don't know. I don't know.
I could see like the Browns holding back his workload for like the first half of the year. Like letting him get his feet wet kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I mean by the difference between like where you would rank them as players versus like fantasy, because like Nick Chubb to me would be like a perfect example. Like he might not get his normal workload at first because he's coming off such a serious injury. But listen. So I don't think that your list is bad. It's not. I feel like you think I'm about to like try to tear it apart. Like I don't think it's a bad list. But there's a couple things that I would just tweak, just personally. Okay. Now I just can't really put Bijan at 3. I understand he's a really, really talented guy, and maybe he does blow this out of the water by the end of the year. But I just feel like because of like what we got out of him last year, and I know that a lot of it was Arthur Smith, I just feel like I'm putting Saquon above him. And Nick Chubb was actually a tough one for me either way, because I really felt like I could make an argument for leaving him out of the top 10 going into 2024 just because of the injury, because it was a serious injury, man. It wasn't like, and he's been through this before. So I honestly don't know if that's good or if that's bad. If that's like, oh, dude, there's no way he's going to get through that a second time. Or if it's like, dude, he's done this already. He can get back easy from this. Like, I don't know. It was just all I know is it was bad because I watched it. Okay, I had the man on my fantasy team. You watched me cry in my living room watching that play. We were together. I know that happened, and it was awful. So that's why he's a real wild card for me. Like I could justify putting him at 3, like in my rankings. Like I could justify putting him there because he's been that good. But also, like, is he going to be the same? So I think 7 is a fair trade-off for him. Travis Etienne, 6 is tough for me, honestly. I think Jonathan Taylor should be up there higher, especially with the situation with Anthony Richardson. If he could get through the whole season with Anthony Richardson, honestly, with Shane Steichen calling the plays, I feel like the sky is the limit for Jonathan Taylor because they should be able to run some killer read options over there. But I think your list is pretty good. And it's funny because you mentioned you could name like 10 people to put at 10. I agree with you that that's actually the most controversial, I feel like, is putting A-Chain at 10, only because he's coming off of his rookie year. He didn't get that many carries. He had a real like health injury problem, and because Raheem Mostert is over there, and I just don't know how that split is going to go with Mike McDaniel. Like they could end up screwing each other out of one of them being top 10. And also, like, I got a list of names here that I feel like you could put at 10. And I'm just going to run through them really quick because I also agree. I feel like the first 9 that you put, I feel pretty good. Like I'm not even putting Bijan out of 9. So like the first 9 I feel really good about, but 10, you could put so many names there. So let me just read off some of them that I personally think. My number 1 candidate, the person I would actually have over A-Chain is Kyron Williams. Just because I feel like he was just so beast, man. And like just game after game. I mean, he missed 5 games last year and he still had like 1,200 rushing yards, like another 200 receiving yards. He had over 10 touchdowns. So like it didn't matter. When he was in, he was fucking killing it. But him, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Raheem Mostert, and DeAndre Swift. I feel like I could justify putting all 10 of them there with A-Chain. So
I honestly I did A-Chain just because, I mean, if everything, like if he's healthy all year, we saw the ceiling, you know what I mean? Like the kid's fucking gross.
He had like a 9-yard per carry.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it was like he was playing college ball or something. It was crazy.
It really was. It was like he made everyone kind of look stupid almost. It's like, damn, dude. Like, holy shit.
It's like last play of the game. There's only 2 seconds left. You got 50 yards to go. You can consider just handing it off. They're probably going to think you're going to do a Hail Mary. But, hey, this guy scores like every time he touches the ball. We could just try it. Like, it wouldn't be the most nuts play call with the way he was running the ball. Like, no, I agree. I mean, his ceiling is like incredible. But it's just like, is he going to get there? I mean,
I agree.
That's always the question, right?
So that's why I wouldn't even say this. This is, I guess, more real life because I wouldn't draft A-Chain number 10 in my fantasy draft. You know what I mean? Like, I would take out those guys. To me, I was looking at Josh Jacobs first, and then Kyron, and then Kenneth Walker from Seattle. Those to me were like those 3 easily, without like a shadow of a doubt, deserve a spot on a ranking leaderboard somewhere. But I just wanted to have fun with it, and to me, he was the most fun name out there. For a 10 spot. So I was like, yeah, let's do A-Chain. Because I mean, what if everything does go right? And this dude just he just runs for like 2,000 yards on like no carries for no
3,000 yards on like 100 carries. He just scores every time he touches the ball.
Yeah. Guy ends up with freaking 37 touchdowns and we're all like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that would be, best case scenario. That obviously will probably not happen. I'm sure very slim to none chance, but hey, you can dream a little bit.
Yeah, for fantasy purposes, I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be tough. Like, to draft him or Raheem Mostert, like, I feel like, those are fantasy winners or loser decisions right there. You could really swing either way, just depending on where the wind blows. So we'll see. We'll see there. But we'll move on to the wide receivers you got here, okay? I felt like I really, for the most part, agreed with you, like almost 100%. But let's go ahead and just from your perspective, just lay it out there for the people.
Yeah, no, everyone's gonna probably. I mean, to me, you can flip flop Tyreek and Justin all day long because they're both freaking nature athletes that can get you 175 and 2 any given Sunday. So I mean, I guess I just like Tyreek a little bit more, just because, man, he like Justin just doesn't get that many like 45 plus yard touchdowns. And I feel like I've seen Tyreek do that like with regularity. Like it's kind of like almost unfair how easily he can do that. So I'm going to give that guy the edge on the 1-2 debate because obviously that's a different tier. Even though CD is amazing, CD proved that once that I was so happy for CD last year, man, because like you love to see good players or like very awesome, like talented players get fed the ball because that's like what we're all dying for. Like, not only as fantasy fans, but just football fans. It's like, dude, how much sense does it make? Like that one week that the Cowboys played the Chargers, I think they try to give Michael, what the hell is it?
Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup.
Yeah, I remember that.
They gave him like 8 or 10 targets.
10 targets.
Yeah, like what are we doing, dog? Like feed CD, you idiots. Like even give half of those to CD and you'll have a better offense. But yeah, no, I think CD is undoubtedly the number 3 right now. And then Amon-Ra, I mean, dude, just consistent. I love a guy like Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra reminds me of Antonio Brown, like just because of the size and the route running ability and like how easily they free themselves from coverage. Like I love watching Amon-Ra work, dude. Like that kid's special and like he works his ass off. I like his story. I like his family, his dad, and all that stuff. And like he's just a badass, dude. Like good for the Lions, and I'm glad he got paid. And then Jamar Chase, that doesn't really need an explanation. I mean, y'all seen what Jamar Chase can do too. Like him and Jefferson are similar. I just feel like Jamar has like a little bit more of an injury bug. It seems like, I guess, like he's just had a little bit more bad luck. But that's what happens when you play, all out like those guys do. I mean, you're going to get hurt every now and again. And then I'll go down the list on 6 through 10 here. AJ Brown. I mean, it's about as steady as you get at the wide receiver position. Guy's a stud, freak of nature on the field. Like one guy I feel like I could have put on the list, but I was trying to figure out how, and I was like, dude, I just can't put him over Evans and Adams. But DK Metcalf, him and AJ Brown kind of remind me of each other, but I feel like DK's just always had the worst quarterback situation. Like he would be AJ Brown with a better quarterback. But AJ Brown, number 6, right behind Jamar. Then Garrett Wilson, I think that's totally fair to put Garrett Wilson to me at number 7 because, dude, had he had Aaron Rodgers all of last year, I mean, we're talking probably 19 touchdowns and at least 1,400 yards because I feel like the connection and the touchdown, like, dude, it's going to be the Adams fade every time they're down there. You know what I mean? It's going to be Devon. They're going to run everything like they did with Devontae, and Devontae Adams was good for like 19 touchdowns a year with Aaron Rodgers. So I think Garrett Wilson's in line for that this year, as long as obviously Aaron doesn't break his shit 2 plays in. And then this one, I don't know if anyone will debate me on this one, but Puka Nacua at number 8. Yeah, dude, like, holy shit, this guy's insane. I couldn't believe what I was watching, like how quickly he just established himself as like, yeah, I'm the fucking alpha on this damn team, and I demand 12 to 15 looks a game, basically. It's like, Jesus, dude, like, how good are you at football? My God, how'd you go in the 5th fucking round? What are we doing? Like, how did you make it that far? How, like, scouts, what the fuck are you getting paid for? How does that guy fall? And it makes me mad because my team passed on him like 4 times too, and then he fell into my damn division. I got to play against him now. Sucks. And then Evans and Adams, I mean, just 2 like future Hall of Famers, easy all day. They're just getting older. That's the only reason they're not at the top anymore. It's like, to me, it's like Jefferson and Chase. I mean, yeah, Tyreek's one of a kind. I'm not gonna put him, like, compare him to anybody. But Jefferson and Chase are like, the younger version of Evans and Adams. Like, just your steady, consistent, always going to get you 10 plus TDs, always going to get you 1,200 plus yards, and like do it with ease almost. You know what I mean? Make Sundays look easy. And so, yeah, that's why I got my list that way.
All right, not bad. I mean, you made a good, solid argument for everybody. I will say, I don't think it's a bad list at all, but I would have just a few slight tweaks. Like, personally, I would switch where AJ Brown and Amon St. Brown are. I'd put AJ at 4 and Amon at 6. I agree with you. 1 to 2, it's like flip a coin because both of them are like the same caliber player as far as impact on the game. I would also have probably Garrett Wilson and Puka knocked down, and Mike Evans and Devontae above them. And then the only guy that I feel like I would have had to have put him in there is Amari Cooper. Even if I just put him over Garrett Wilson, I just feel like Amari Cooper's consistency. I mean, my man has just done it in the NFL. Anywhere he went, everywhere he went, 1,000-yard receiver, 8+ touchdowns. So I probably would have had to slide him in there just for the consistency. But Puka obviously is dominant. And Garrett Wilson has been just doing the shit without a quarterback basically since he got in the NFL. So splitting hairs there. The tight end group. I think we don't really need to go over all 10 of these. All I'm going to say about it is I feel like Evan Ingram at 10. Come on. My man had 115 catches last year. Almost 1,000 yards. What do we got to do to get my man at like 6 over here?
How many touchdowns did he have?
I think like 2.
Oh,
wasn't a lot of touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about you if you're not a red zone threat and you're supposed to be a big man tight end. Fuck out of here. You're welcome for the 10 ranking. Jesus.
I mean, come on. I literally broke a record for 4 touchdowns. I'm sorry. 4 touchdowns.
I don't know, dude. Like, if to me, you can, like, 6 through 9, like, sure, he could kind of float in. Oh, not 6 through 9, probably 7 through 9. You could float Ingram up to 7 at the tops, most, but like, difference maker, like, dude, I'd rather have Ferguson, I'd rather have Kincaid, and I'd rather have Njoku. So, I mean, if I'm a GM of building a franchise right now for 2024, I would take all those guys over Ingram just because I feel like they're more of difference makers than he is. I mean, that's it. I mean, I like Ingram. Obviously.
Wow.
I like him 10th best, okay?
That's a shame. That's a shame. I disagree. I don't think he should be that far down there. Jake Ferguson is the one that bothers me the most. Jake Ferguson is the one where I'm just like,
Why?
dude, are you serious right now?
What?
Because, man, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. All right. I'm pulling up
Why?
Ferguson's stats right now because Ferguson had 761 yards. He only had one more touchdown than Evan Ingram last year. And you're going to justify putting him above Evan Ingram? Come on, man. My man Evan Ingram was a third down machine. Okay. The 115 catches, that's more targets than freaking Jake Ferguson had. Okay.
So I like him more.
Yeah. No, I mean, the only thing about yours is I feel like McBride over Hawkinson. It's just tough for me. It's a tough sell.
No, easy all day. Oh my God, are you serious? Did you not see the fucking connection down there? They're in my division, dude. I watched the shit out of that team.
I mean, he had a great second half of last year, but I just feel like we've seen other tight ends go through really big stretches and then end up being disappointing the following season. Like I'm blinking on the guy's name from the Rams. He's still with them, actually. But he's done that before, and he got like wasn't a big contract, but it was a decent sized contract, and it was just disappointing. So I just want to see it one more year. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, I mean, I'll make a bet with you right now that McBride ends up a top 3 tight end in fantasy. In overall points.
Listen, we'll see what happens after the preseason. All right, it's a little early to be making bets. Okay, I want to.
Come on,
you know how I am with the preseason. I want to get my preseason in before I start making any hard commitments here. But let's get to what everybody wants to see, anyways. Nobody cares about this. We need to move it along. All right, next we're just going to flash the offensive line rankings, just the top 5 because we're not. I really don't know 6 through 10. Like I really would struggle to try to figure out where I would put anything past 5 here. But these are just the offensive linemen that we think are the most dominant. This is not prepped at all. Canipes send me his rankings. I already made my rankings because I didn't think he was going to do this one. And yeah, this is where we fell. We're pretty much dead on with the Lions and the Eagles flip there. The only reason I have the Lions at 1 and Eagles at 2 is honestly because Jason Kelce retired. And I just feel like that is going to make a big impact. Like you mentioned the tush push. I'm actually really interested to see if they're even able to do it at the same level with a different center than Jason Kelce. So we'll kind of see. I mean, obviously, Hurts is also a big part of that. He's huge squatting machine. But also now they have Saquon. So they have another option that they really didn't. I mean, Swift is good, but he's not Saquon. You know what I'm saying? But really splitting hairs there. We both have the Browns at 3, which I thought was hilarious. And then we both have the Chargers on here. The only difference, you have the Packers at 4, and I have the Colts at 5. So kind of splitting hairs here. But let's get to the quarterback rankings because this is the fun stuff. All right. All right. We're going from top 1 to 32. And let me just give a disclosure here because I had made my rankings before you sent me yours, and I've just learned from a mistake that I've made. Okay. So I don't even include the rookies. If you're a rookie, I don't even touch you because it was just like, dude, so all over the place. So I just leave them off.
You didn't think Caleb was going to be at least in the middle of the list?
I just leave them off. I just don't keep them as part of the rankings because it's just like I'm just always so off. So I was like, you know what? I just won't do you anymore. We'll judge you after you've had a year. Okay, we'll judge you after you've had a year.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna play a game, and you're gonna pick where Caleb's gonna go in your list. We'll wait till after 10. He's not gonna talk.
All right. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. All right. So the biggest differences here, I'd say, is obviously I got Matt Stafford at 5. I know that you think that's a little extreme, but I just I think this is gonna sound weird, but I think last year was Matt Stafford's most impressive year as a quarterback because listen. He didn't make it to the playoffs with some star-studded team. He didn't just show up on a team that was just loaded. Yeah, they had some good players, but they weren't like loaded from top to bottom. They had a lot of people that had to grow. The offensive line needed to grow altogether. Obviously, Puka Nacua turned into his own. And you look at this year, he's got Puka Nacua, second year in the system. He's got Cooper Kupp, who will hopefully be healthy for the year. He's got Kyron Williams, another homegrown body. I just think he's in one of the best situations. He's just him and Sean McVay. They're vibing. Okay, they're in sync going into the end of last year, even losing to Detroit. I just feel like they were right there, man. I mean, so I just feel like Stafford could have the best year of his career this year personally. And that's why I've got him all the way up at 5. I know for some, maybe that will be a little high, but and I've been critical of Stafford. I've been one of the people that's like, no, he's not a Hall of Famer yet. But if he keeps playing how he played last year, I think he will be a Hall of Famer for sure. And I think that the Rams have a really good chance at another Super Bowl. So another thing, you got Jalen Hurts at 6. I have him out of the top 10 completely. And same with Justin Herbert. I have both of those guys out of the top 10 completely. I love that you have CJ Stroud out of the top 10. I'm scared shitless of CJ Stroud. No, I gave him his respect. I put him at 8. But let me tell you something. That guy is getting cocky. Okay. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's just go ahead and no, we'll save it for later. Well, no. Well, we're talking. Fuck it. We're talking about CJ Stroud right now. First of all, he also thinks Matt Stafford would have had multiple Super Bowl rings if he played. He kind of took I felt like a jab at Aaron Rodgers because, like, if Stafford was on the Packers, like Aaron Rodgers was, he'd have 3 or 4 rings. So, but also he gave his rankings of quarterbacks and he put himself at 3. And honestly, the fact that he did that almost makes me feel, because that happened after I made my rankings. And I was like, damn, I kind of want to drop him because this is a humble you league, man. The second you start saying shit like that is when you have like your worst outing. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I do love that we both have Jared Goff in the top 10. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, and I'm sorry. I want to hear, let's have you go into why. I mean, outside of the Jags beating Justin Herbert, and I don't know if that's like your bias or something, but why is he not in the top 10 for you?
Because this is a projection, okay? This is a projection of next year. And you look at what they have surrounding Justin Herbert, and my man has like hardly any receivers, man. I mean, like they took all his weapons away and they loaded up this run game. So I feel like it's going to be like that year where Matt LaFleur was on the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, his stats were down, but they were still winning. But his stat line was just down because like they were just running the ball. They're just built to run the ball, and they don't have these receivers. I feel like he's just going to be doing less, and he's coming off an injury. So I feel like all those things together, and it's just been such a competitive league. That's the reason I got him out of the top 10, honestly. I think that he's a great player, but I just think that the situation around him just isn't as good as any of these guys on here. Like not one of them.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I just wanted to hear it. I was curious on your reasoning.
Yeah. Well, and with Hurts, man, honestly, I feel like I could have put him a bunch of different places. But
dude, I'm sorry, but I can't put a guy who's that mobile, who actually has shown us before that he has the arm and can get TDs like it's nothing. Like he has 2 great receivers. Like he'll be fine. I don't get why you don't have him in your top 10 at all. Like I understand. I can side with you in the Justin Herbert stuff.
I got him right there at 11. Okay, so it's not like he's like way down there. He's one spot from the top 10, but it's because listen, Shane Steichen left and the offense just didn't look the same. I know he's got a bunch of rushing touchdowns from that tush push, but I don't know. I just feel like the drop off from last year to this year. It just didn't look good. And now they have new coordinators. Okay. They got Kellen Moore in there, which should help things, but I just want to see it first, man. I just want to see it. And I look at the guys that are ahead of him and I think all of them are just in great situations. Like seriously, just great situations. So
let's go 11 through 20.
All right. So 11 through 20 here. You know what I noticed about yours is you're always trashing my boy Trevor, but you put him above Purdy. I actually gave Purdy his respect. I was like, you know what? He's done it long enough. I'm not going to hold the fact that he has all these weapons against him. I put him at 12. I see you got Trevor Lawrence at 12 above Purdy. So just funny how that works out.
I know. It's because, I mean, I do talk a lot of crap about him, but I do believe in his talent because I've seen his talent. He is a good, like, I can tell he can do it. It's the mental shit with me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he doesn't show me what I want to see, but, like, he just doesn't show grit like the other guys do. Like, I mean, dude, even Purdy, he'll walk around like his fucking dick's bigger than anybody on the field. Like Trevor's never really done it. Like I feel like he did that like one time that I can remember where he's like, "Yeah, fuck you," type shit. Like
he's just not a good trash talker. Okay.
I just want to see some dog in him, man. Like I want to see him get pissed off and like just go make a fucking play and like just like I don't know, flex on somebody. I don't know, do something.
Justin Herbert doesn't do that.
Huh?
Justin Herbert doesn't do that.
I understand, but
You don't hold it against him.
Yeah, because I don't care about the Chargers whatsoever. At least the Jags, I mean, I have a close.
Wow.
The Chargers.
Different standards here.
Yeah, it is. It is. I have a close relationship with the Jags because all you guys are Jags fans down there, and I hang out with y'all. So, I mean, I have to hear about Jags all the damn time. So I'm gonna have different feelings and stronger feelings toward it, just like I am with the Niners and all that shit. So, but yeah, I mean, I did put him above Brock Purdy. I like my boy Brock, but I do feel like if we had Trevor Lawrence over Brock Purdy, we'd probably win the Super Bowl. And I'm honestly I love Brock Purdy to death, and I know he's been playing great, and I love the kid. But dude, if he's not in the top 5, without a doubt, I don't care how good your team is surrounding. We've seen it over and over again. A great quarterback will get you where you want to go as far as a ring. Patrick Mahomes just did it with nobody's on the most drops in the NFL, and he just did it. Okay, your quarterback matters more than anything else on the field, and I love Brock Purdy to death. I think he's an amazing quarterback. He's obviously my QB. I love the kid, and I think he's going to go to the playoffs plenty of times. But do I think we're going to win one with him? Probably fucking not, because Josh Allen's better than him, because Patrick Mahomes is better than him, because Joe Burrow is better than him, and your quarterback is going to win you your Super Bowl, because that's when the clutch comes out. That's when the beast mode comes out, dude. I watched Brock Purdy fuck up during the Super Bowl, left and right. And dude, and sort of McCaffrey. Not that's a separate discussion, but I saw him have a guy in his face bearing down on him, and he panicked through it way too far out of bounds past the end zone. And I was like, there's my answer. You don't have it in your veins. I know it's one throw, but it stands out to me a fucking lot because, again, one throw kept us from the damn fucking Super Bowl, just like with Jimmy. He's not that different from Jimmy. He has more mobility, but he's better than Jimmy. But fuck, man, you need a guy who's top 5 without a doubt quarterback. Because look at all the past quarterbacks who have won the Super Bowl. Just think about Brady, Stafford, Mahomes. Those guys have all been top 5 that year they won. You would have said it with ease. You know what I mean? And no one's ever going to say that about Brock Purdy, even if he, did throw 4,200 yards and whatever touchdowns. Yeah, he had a phenomenal year, but he's not going to be a Super Bowl champion. He's just not. I've already accepted it. If he does, I'll eat this and then post his video wherever the fuck, and I'll look like an idiot for my own fucking team with the flag in the background. But dude, I just don't see it. I love my guy to death, but we need a top 5 guy. You have to have that. That's why you have to keep searching, and that's why I told you I would take a shot on someone, but that's not Trevor Lawrence. But it's more. I was fucking with you to a degree, but you know what I mean? You need a top 5 guy. You don't have that. Trevor Lawrence is not even top 5, not even top 10, according to both of us. So what are we doing here? You think you're going to win a Super Bowl with number 13 or 12?
Yeah, I do think you can win a Super Bowl with number 13 or 12. And listen, I'm going to rebuttal that so hard because, listen, okay, the amount of disrespect that you just put on Brock Purdy's fucking name. I can't believe this, but I've got to defend your guy for you, apparently, because listen, you don't see it. Why? Because he had to face Chris Jones just coming at him play after play.
Yeah.
He was doing the best he could, okay?
If you want to
brought you into overtime with the mini GOAT, all right? And his second year. Okay, Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady when he first won the Super Bowl. At that time, there was some guy that was like, Tom Brady is just a guy. He's not worthy of it. And he probably wasn't at the time, but you grow into that. And I think where Brock Purdy is and the situation he's in is a great opportunity for him to grow into that top 10 player. I don't think it's impossible at all for you guys to win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. My man is balling for the most part. Sure, is he perfect? No, he's not perfect. But, shit, he's played less than 30 NFL games. Less than 40 NFL games. So let's just give him a little time here. Jesus, we want this youngster to just get it off rip, and that's just not how the NFL goes sometimes.
Well, check this out. Look at everybody on both of our lists. Have any of them won a Super Bowl?
Hey, you know who has won a Super Bowl? Nick Foles.
Dude, come on. Have any of these guys won a
Joe Flacco has won a Super Bowl.
All right. Have any of these guys won a Super Bowl?
No, they haven't, but they're all pretty. Oh, actually, yes. Russell Wilson. I got him on this, and he's won a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. All right. One.
But all these guys are really young, too, for the most part. Minus Kirk Cousins. But most of these guys are pretty freaking young, dude. I mean, honestly, like the quarterback era has recently turned over. Like we've lost a lot of guys. So to that, I would say, first of all, give him time. And second of all, it's kind of tough to win Super Bowls when you got one guy named Patty Cakes Mahomes. Okay, you want to talk about the amount of people that won the Super Bowl? Let's flip it over to here. Out of these people, how many do we have that have won the Super Bowl? 1, 2, 3. Pat Mahomes. No. Yes, no. So, I mean, we got 3 people on this list, 1 person on this list. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough out here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not Patrick Mahomes, it's already everything's going against you because you know why? Because you're not Patrick Mahomes. And we didn't even talk about it. But that is the only reason that I have Joe Burrow at 2, because I feel like between Joe Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen, like that's a tier for me. But Joe Burrow's the one that has beaten Patrick Mahomes when it counts. So that's the only reason he's at 2, because like he's done it consistently enough, which consistently enough is like 50%. That's what like a great win percentage against Patrick Mahomes is. If you're winning half the time, that's like godly status right there. It's like, whoa, hold up. Let's watch this. Like that's that type of shit right there. So yeah, but honestly, I feel like our 11 through 20 is pretty similar. Other than the fact that you have, I also didn't put Anthony Richardson in here because the guy gets hurt every single game he plays. I think he could be really good, but I also think there's a chance that he might hardly ever play. I just think that based off of an interview where he was basically like, I'm going to play my game because that's what I do. And I was like, you might want to alter that strategy a little bit because that didn't get you in the games very much last year. So,
all right. So right here, hey, hold on. Would you put Caleb in anywhere from 11 to 20? Because obviously I have him at 19.
I'd probably put him at 18.
Okay. Like so ahead of Russell and Fields?
Yeah. Ahead of Russell Fields. And then that's honestly a lot of his situation because I think he's a talented guy, but also you look at like, dude, he's got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore. Like he's in a perfect state. His offensive line is pretty good. Like he's got to be in the best situation a number 1 overall pick has ever been in the history of ever. Like when is the worst team overall drafting a quarterback and he gets put in this perfect cushion situation like this? Like it never happens this way. So I think that he could have a lot of. I don't think it's impossible for them to make the playoffs this year, honestly. Even though that's a tough division, I think it'd still be really hard because of the Lions and the Packers are in there. But I don't think it's impossible. I mean, there's 7 playoff spots, so realistically, you could all make it in. It would just be tough, but I definitely think that
I can see him beating Love. I can see them beating the Packers for that spot potentially. Like, I mean, if we're thinking like ceiling, I don't think he'll beat the Lions. I think the Lions will have a good record. Except they're just a better.
I expect the Lions to dominate. To be honest with you, I know that these other teams are talented, but Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, the way that the team's built, I just feel like they're here to stay. The Packers, I almost want to say that they're going to take a step back, but I've just been so wrong about Jordan Love this whole time that I've just admitted defeat. I put him in the top 10. I was like, I'm not touching this. I mean, the guy has been electric. He's got like these young ass receivers. They're just getting the shit done. And the only struggles that they really had last year was the receivers dropping the ball like the first half of the year. I feel like Jordan Love was consistent. So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, he played awesome, man. But I could see him being like a good regression candidate, like just of the people to regress on this list. Like I feel like him and Tua, I can see taking a step back.
Yeah, Tua, I mean, it seems like he needs to work on being able to go further into his reads. And also, I swear, when Tyreek Hill isn't on the field, he struggles, man. There are times when I think Tua looks really good. But anytime I see Tyreek Hill off the field, like he struggles to get through his reads and shit. And it was kind of like, what was the game? The Titans. They should have won that game, man. And then Tyreek Hill goes out of the game and the offense just cannot move. And the Titans sneak that game out. And it's just like, those are the parts that get you dropped. I mean, that's why you are where you are on my list for me. So I see you got him above Kyler.
Just because Kyler has looked almost worse to me than Tua. Like, I don't know how.
What?
Dude, Kyler has. I mean, first of all, he's not a leader. Like I have that same problem I have, like kind of with Trevor Lawrence, of just the mental side of it. Like he just like I should have honestly flip flopped Love and Lawrence on my list, but I guess I believe in Lawrence's arm talent more than I believe in Love's arm talent. But like the player, the guy, the man, I like Love over Lawrence. But I mean, for between Tua and Kyler, those are two like children to me. Like they're not leaders. Like Tua is more of a leader, but Kyler definitely not. Everyone has said that about him. Basically, that has like interviewed. I mean, not obviously everybody, but there's been plenty of things.
Hey, you can grow. You can grow, man.
Sure, dude.
I just think his talent is there. I mean, the guy has a good arm, and his mobility is crazy too. It's crazy underrated.
I know. I agree. But that's the thing is like you're that good, but yet you can't carry any load or like I don't know. You don't bring anything to the table that's like, wow, like Kyler won that game, except for like that one game with DeAndre Hopkins in the corner. Like that was a fun ending. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't like the whole aura about him. I'm glad he's in my division because he just seems like a dumpster fire. This is going to keep burning. And I feel like they might make it better with MHJ over there. That's kind of scary. You know, that thought of Big Brian and MHJ, like that's going to be a good combo. But I trust that Kyler's not going to be good enough to lead that to consistent victories.
Yeah, it's competitive, man. Honestly, it really is.
I love it. Yeah. So close.
Yeah, I got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields like back to back on the.
I know. I saw that.
It was a tough pull for me, but I just I feel like Justin Fields deserves the top spot, man, on the top 30. Top 32. I did top 30 because I took those rookies out. But I think that ours are pretty similar, not too different. You know what's interesting? Gardner Minshew. So I saw a redraft of the 2019. Like you ever see where they do that, where they're like they redraft the players and how it would go now, like now that they know how you turned out.
I just thought you put the Predator ones.
Yeah, I like doing that. I think it's funny. Fucking freak over there. Freak sucks Predator guy. But yeah, no, with Gardner Minshew, they did a 2019 redraft, which is like you basically like repick now that we know who those players are. Like example, like Max Crosby's like picked like third in the redraft because he's a fucking beast. They had Gardner Minshew as a first round pick in it, and I was like, wow, picking a journeyman first round. Okay, look at so he's getting a little respect over here, but I think our lists are pretty similar for the most part. On the back end, I will say that the only reason I have Will Levis above like Bryce Young, Daniel Jones, is because the Titans have sweet ass receivers. That's the only reason. But other than that, that's pretty much that's my list. And yeah, did you? And then Caleb. Yeah, I already said that. Caleb, I'd put probably like at 18 if I included him here.
Dude, I was talking to my buddy who was a Bears fan at one point. I was like, dude, I would trade you guys like Purdy plus Kittle plus a future first or whatever, like just to get Caleb, because I feel like you have to have that type of dude. I'm so sick of fucking watching my team lose to goddamn Patrick Mahomes. If we don't get a guy that's like him, we're fucked. And I don't care what you say. Yeah. Like he's gonna out.
I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. There have been some reports that he hasn't looked that good. He hasn't looked that good in STAs.
Talk about the practice reports. Are you serious, dude? I don't believe any of that. I don't believe anything until I see it on Sunday. But yeah, no, dude.
We're getting close. We got 2 months until preseason football.
I don't want to get let down again. I'm so fucking tired of second place, man.
You know what's funny is I'm always like excited for preseason. And then as soon as preseason gets here, I'm like, this sucks. It's just a fucking tease. I always tell myself every year, like, dude, once we get to preseason, it's going to be sweet. We're at least going to have some football to watch, but it's never sweet. All right, one last guy I want to talk about on the list is Derek Carr, because I think it's hilarious. We both have him like on the back end, obviously here, but it's just like for me, I feel so bad because my man fell from so far. Like you look at that season where they made the playoffs with the Raiders, and it's just like, dude, what happened, Derek?
What happened?
Where did your heart go? Because it ain't in the game no more, my brother.
Yeah,
It's
it seemed
just
like he lost his grit with the Saints for sure. Like you saw, he had that fire in him as a Raider, and I feel like he loved being a Raider, especially because I think didn't he go to Fresno or Fresno State or something like that?
he did go to Fresno State, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just feel like hometown pick type of deal. So I feel like he felt bonded to that uniform and that city, and just everything about the Raiders. And I feel like after he got traded, he maybe like obviously he's not going to show or he's not going to tell you that that's how he feels, but I feel like deep down, like you probably don't give a fuck anymore. Like that's how I really feel about Derek Carr. Is like he's probably like, if he catches it, he catches it. What the fuck ever? Like I'm about to be done anyway. Like he knows it's coming. He ain't stupid.
He got the last big contract he'll ever get.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think he doesn't give a shit anymore. Because like once, like, dude, it's I'm sorry, but it happens. We see it way too often. Like guys play great. They get paid, and then they have an off year or just worse year than they should have had. And you're like even like with Bosa, like, dude, you got paid and then you give me that? Are you joking, ass, dude?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. I was debating on if I want to talk about it or not. No, we're just gonna skip it because who cares? I was gonna ask about because you have Bo Nix at 32, and I was like, well, what do you think of the chances he starts there? Because some reports it could be Zach Wilson, could be Jarek Stidham. So who knows? But then I was like, you know what? Who fucking cares? No matter what, they're gonna suck. And whoever is 32 is probably that name. Whoever's the starter, that's probably who it is. So,
yeah.
Actually, who cares? We're not even going to talk about that. Just a couple more things before we get out of here. We actually got through this pretty quick. Listen, guys, the thing is, we know that some of these rankings are going to come to bite us in the ass. Somebody's going to be able to clip this video and make fun of us really hard. But I tell you what, it won't get worse than this, okay? Because listen, sometimes it can be tough working in sports media, but I'll tell you this. I never had a day that could ever be this tough. Let's just listen in.
In the NFL, arguably one of the best NCAA quarterbacks of all time in Texas, picked up golf about 4 years ago. What's the biggest shift you make going from the ultimate team sport to now the ultimate individual sport?
Now, I apologize. I have the wrong person. I'm Everett Sands over City, which I'm a football coach. But the thing is, the great thing about golf is I'm not.
All right. So obviously there was some kind of mix-up. Okay. Now I don't know why this mix-up happened, but I can tell you this: a quick Google search could have solved that problem real quick. Obviously that is not Vince Young, and it couldn't be Vince Young. So
yeah, I'm sorry, but has she never watched football a day in her fucking life? Like Vince Young's not that hard to spot, dude. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like you're reporting on shit you have no clue or no heart in whatsoever. Like, fuck out of here, dude. Like you're just like, I understand it's your job, but dude, like give a shit about something if you're gonna report on it. My God.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Like we love football. That's what we're talking about,
Yeah, just to mix him up, just couldn't believe that. That's a tough day. All right, dude, you're never gonna forget that one.
He's not even like really close looking. Like I would never like what Vince Young.
Yeah,
like come on. Dude.
And like maybe talk to the guy before you're on camera, and just make sure you got your facts straight. It's a quick ask.
You didn't. You weren't you weren't like, hey Vince, and he just didn't respond. You're like, oh, that's definitely him then. Like what?
Yeah. And as we get closer to football season, it's also time for us to get our bets warmed up, and we're gonna have plenty of betting. But I just want to point this out, okay? Because if you've lost a lot of money betting, this should make you feel better. All right. This isn't football news, but it's noteworthy for sure. The MLB banned Capita. Can you say that guy's name? The guy from the Padres.
I think it's like Tusapita Marcano or something like that.
Yeah, this guy got banned for betting on MLB games, okay? And he bet on quite a number of games that were his own games, okay? And even when he was betting on his own games, my man was still fucking losing. Imagine having like direct ownership of a bet. Like you're betting on yourself and you still can't hit. Like That's tough, man. My guy got fired because he was a shitty bettor, basically. He was basically giving his money to the sports book. So I show you guys that to just say, don't feel bad that you're losing. Okay. This guy literally had control of his bets and he was still losing. It's tough. It's not easy. Even cheating, you still can't beat the books because they're that good. They know you better than fucking you know you. Okay. So that is crazy. That is some crazy shit right there. But it's slow NFL talk. So sometimes you got to pull other things. And I just found that to be hilarious. So I appreciate you sending me your rankings here. It was fun to look over them. And we have 9 people on Twitter watching us right now. Probably some bots. Who knows? But appreciate your bots. We're going to get out of here. We'll catch you next week. Peace.
End it.
I did.
No, you